So it's just, we're ready? Yeah, all righty. Everybody ready? We're ready. Here we go. It's 5:30. Call meeting to order, Planning and Zoning Commission. Item number 2. Oh, and we do have a quorum, by the way. Item number 2, open a public hearing, and it is still 5:30. Conduct a public hearing to consider a request to rezone property located at 102 St. Francis Circle, also known as Lot 2, Block 1, Damasco Subdivision, 3.445 acres, City of Rockport, Aransas County, Texas, to B1, General Business District, to allow for use of monitored outdoor parking, currently zoned R1, First Single Family Dwelling District. If there's anyone that would like to speak on this matter, this is your opportunity. You'll have 3 minutes, and you just one at a time come up here. Come on up. Please state your name and address. Oh, you're the applicant. Okay, you can talk as long as you want. Sure.
My name's Brian Phillips. I live at 325 Griffith Drive, directly across the street, about 50 feet from this property. Kind of shorten it up, we've been trying to buy this property for about 12 years. It was once residential or commercial. I'm not sure how they're coded or whatever. I'm not real sure how it works, but I guess when the city incorporated it, they put everything back to residential. So we've been making a run at this property for 12 years trying to buy it. We eventually got it. I had no idea that zoning had been changed. And so we are considering several different things there. We really need to go through this process to get it zoned where we can open our options. Right now we're considering the monitored parking. We did acquire 110-foot highway frontage from Certified Auto Repair. The replat has been finished, and we're fixing to file the warranty deed. And so that would be the main entrance off and on the highway. No entrances from the side roads whatsoever. So I guess that's all I got. Any questions?
We're not going to ask questions now. Once we get to the regular agenda item, then I'm
okay,
sure
so you
we'll
have a
questions
seat
for you. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? And we're talking about regular agenda item number 4. So this is your opportunity to speak.
How about 3?
So is this the time now for the,
Yes.
okay, I'd like to speak, please.
Yes.
Did you want to do the minutes?
No. Agenda item number 4 is.
So my name is Jim Riley.
I know,
I
but
live
we're still.
at 340 Griffith Drive, which is right across the street from the said property from our neighbor. And I wanted to make it known for the record that I oppose this because we originally bought that home as a resident, and for the trees and for the environment that's around that area is very nice. It's very accommodating to the neighbors that live in that neighborhood. If I had ever would have dreamed that there would be some type of business or some kind of RV park or etc., I would never bought my home there. I bought my home as an investment for not only for current economy, but for the future. You know, I'm getting older. Eventually, one day, you know, I have to pass that on to my children, and I don't want them to have to deal with a piece of property that they can't sell because of some sort of business that's across the street. And another thing too, he says no traffic on the side roads, but you and I both know that you can drive anywhere in Rockport and around any business, and those cars are driving all the way around all those neighborhoods looking for an entrance. And I'll be honest, I don't want to look at an RV. I don't want to look at parking. I live there because it's a very nice neighborhood. And so that's kind of where I stand on that. So I oppose it.
Okay. Thank you. What was your name, sir?
James Riley. R-I-L-E-Y.
Thank you.
Yes, and that zoning also, if you have, is part of my property, and I'm not interested in my property becoming commercial either. So, and that circle encompasses my property.
No, the circle is not what's being rezoned. Okay, right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Evening.
My name is John Lucas. I live at 344 Griffith Drive, which is also directly across Griffith Drive from the property that is being requested to be rezoned. I'm going to say that I oppose it as well. The facial part of my house, the most viewed area of my house, looks directly across the street at what used to be trees and pretty much a vacant lot. As the gentleman said, it's been vacant for quite some time. And putting something like a business or an RV park or something of that nature basically in my pan of view when I sit at my kitchen table is not something I'm really interested in having. I don't think that I want the traffic. I don't think I want the increase of population in that area, especially for an RV park or something that these are non-residential type people. They're coming in for a short period of time and leaving. It's not, full-time residents of Rockport. These are people that are coming in for the winter or people that are coming in for spring break or whatever it may be. But those people don't live here full-time. Their kids don't go to school here full-time. And it's just not something I'm interested in having right across the street from my house. As Jim said too, I don't know what it's going to do to my property value, but I'm not interested in my property value going down. That's for sure. I think that putting an entrance right off the highway right there is very dangerous. There's already a lot of wrecks in that area as there is because of the crossing of the highway and having big trucks and trailers slowing down to try to exit right off the highway, to me, just poses a real major traffic risk. There's no way to merge off of the road and get into an entrance safely there, especially if it's a driveway type thing. I've seen a number of wrecks in that area already, so just increasing that hazard alone to me sounds dangerous. And outside of that, I mean, to me, it's the serenity of the area. It's peaceful. It's quiet. It's one of the reasons I bought my house there, is to be in an area where it's quiet. The Peninsula Oaks area is an area where the lots are larger and the homes are farther apart. The density is not very large, and then you're going to cram a whole bunch of stuff into one small space. That just increases, the density of the area. So it's just not something I want to look at. And I just want that to be said. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Anyone else? Close public hearing at 5:38. Moving on to the regular agenda. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from March 20th of this year? And if you don't have additions, corrections to it, I'd entertain a motion to approve those, please.
Motion.
We have a motion to approve,
I'll second.
and we have a second. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 4, deliberate and act on a request to rezone property located at 102 St. Francis Circle, also known as Lot 2, Block 1, Damasco Subdivision, 3.445 acres, City of Rockport, Aransas County, Texas, to B1 General Business District, to allow the use of monitored outside parking, currently zoned R1, First Single Family Dwelling District. Questions or comments from the members?
I just had a question.
I'd like to invite the applicant to come back up, give y'all an opportunity to ask some questions.
I'm glad you did.
And, the first thing I'd like him to explain is his idea of monitored parking. And so you're gonna have a parking lot where people can store.
That's kind of the thoughts. I have no intention. I also live across the street. I do not want an RV park. And it was advertised at one point on a real estate blog as is a great place for an RV park, and that's when I started looking into it like, oh no, I don't want to look at RV park. Also, don't want to take out any trees. I'm going to leave all the trees that are there. So my intention was to put a privacy fence all along St. Francis Circle, an 8-foot privacy fence, and do a chain link fence. And we have about a 60-foot setback from the highway. So there's also certified auto repair is adjacent to my property, 260 foot of an current automotive center that's been there for 25 years plus. So it's been there. It's also been rezoned to residential. So he's going to have to go through the same process. And that's all I want to say. I want to keep my area beautiful because, like I said, I also have to look at it. I don't want it to devalue my house property either. But I got to do something with it. 3.5 acres, and it is right off the highway, and there's an existing business there already. So I don't want to, like I said, take out any live oak trees. All of those are going to stay. There's some 100-year-old trees there. Got no intention of removing any trees that are that old, or especially that old. That's kind of what I thought. That was my thought.
So this is not covered, I'm assuming it's not covered RV parking, is that correct?
No, it's not covered. It's not RV parking. It's empty boat trailers or, whatever you want to park there, I suppose.
But not enclosed,
Not enclosed,
covered.
no,
So
sir.
it's just-
It's open. It's going to be open, and there's nobody going to be doing any work over there whatsoever. It's just to park. I mean, this area needs that kind of stuff. I need that kind of stuff. I made a little pad over there for a couple of trailers of my own. So I started thinking that it would be good to have something like that for the area. I mean, a lot of residents can't park a boat. Like the country club, they can't park a boat there, so they need a place to put something like that, or extra vehicle, or whatever they want to put there, I suppose. I can't afford just, I'm not a rich guy, I can't afford just to pay the tax on it and look at it. I need to do something with it, I suppose, and this is one of the ideas I came across. It sounds simple to me. I had no idea this process. Matter of fact, I had no idea it was rezoned to residential till recently. So that's when we started this little process here. But one of the gentlemen said he bought his house across the street, but that automotive center is already there. I can hear them working from my house, and I'm okay with it. It is what it is. I bought my house with them already there as well. So I guess, is there any more questions?
Anything else we should look at, Mike?
No, it couldn't be an RV park anyway, because it doesn't have the acreage required.
Yeah, I don't even know what that standard is, but I don't want to do an RV park. I do not want an RV park. That's the reason I bought it.
Okay.
I couldn't afford it at the time when I bought it, but I did not want an RV park, and I could see it coming if I didn't.
If the applicant is successful with his rezone request, then he would have to present to the city his plan. And that plan would include where he would want the entrance and the exit for his business. And if the entrance and or exit is off of the bypass off of 35, then that would require TxDOT approval for all the safety reasons that have been brought to you. So any entrance or exit off of 35 would have to be approved by TxDOT before the project would be allowed to
So
move
this is
forward.
just step
Engineer
one.
drainage.
This is
Everything
step one,
else has to
just for the rezoning.
Can't do anything now. I've lived there for 14 years. I have not seen one accident in that area at all. So I know there's accidents up and down the bypass quite frequently, but I've never seen one there.
That is, would be, like I said, and there's other, depending on what plan he brings to us for review, and it has to go through the hoops.
And it might not work. I just don't, I got to start with this. This is kind of the start.
I don't have any questions, but just kind of a
comments. Of course, obviously, our future land use map puts it at general business. But given that there are objections from the neighbors, it just kind of makes for an interesting, kind of an interesting dilemma here, because it is on the bypass, it is a commercial corridor, but it's also a very nice residential area. I do have the concerns, obviously, about the traffic coming off of, looking at the plat that was done. There's not a very big area there off the bypass that would give you access onto that lot. It is rather small. And I can certainly understand the traffic concerns and the safety concerns, so.
Sure, like you said, if it doesn't work with TxDOT, it doesn't work, but
On the other
we
thing
don't
is
want to
we're-
cause any issues with, especially with that kind of stuff.
Right, but we're also looking at a permanent rezone, so it's not, this isn't just about a potential parking lot. This is about general business, which means you or any future owner, there's a very large list of allowed uses for that, and that's where the concern, I think, comes in with the
But I
neighborhood.
also have to look at it, and
Right,
like I said, I bought it because I love the trees, love the area, and I don't want RV park. And I want to, if I hold on to it, I can keep that from happening.
The future land use map also suggests commercial,
right.
but
I mean, there's an automotive center there already. There's probably a dozen cars parked in this parking lot as we speak.
Anything else? Anyone like to make a motion?
Go ahead.
No?
somebody has to make a motion.
Motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion to not approve.
Your motion's to deny?
Recommend denial?
Correct.
We have a motion to deny.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion to deny, say aye.
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 And opposed? All oppose it. So my motion would be to, if I was making a motion, I would, 4 ayes and 1 nay. Yes, ma'am.
So motion,
Motion carries, yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mike or Carrie, this comes before council.
on the 11th.
Yeah, sir?
This is a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission. And their recommendation will go to the city council.
Okay.
April 11th at 6:30 back in this room. So it will be presented to the city council. The city council has the final decision on whether this moves forward or not.
Very good. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Agenda item number 5, agenda item number 5. Deliberate and act on a request to rezone property located at 1806 Highway 35 North, also known as Villa de Palmas, Units A, B, C, and D, City of Rockport, Aransas County, Texas, to R6 Hotel Motel District to allow the use of short-term rentals currently zoned R5, second multifamily dwelling district.
The applicant is here tonight, so he was not here at the last meeting, so he is here now.
And I gave you the statement.
Right. Guess I should have read that at the public hearing, right?
Public hearing was the last hearing, public hearing.
Okay. Oh, that's right, that was first, all right. Let me read this real quick. This is from Linda T. Collins at 1701 Percival, Rockport. She goes on to say, I'm Linda Collins, address is Percival, Rockport, Texas, owning the adjoining property on Percival, which borders the above referenced property. I spoke on March 20th, 2023 P&Z meeting about my concerns regarding said property, which are as follows. Increased traffic on Percival if the back east side of the said property is allowed to have ingress and egress to said property. Number two, concerns about parking situation on said property. Might it cause parking on Percival? Number three, wanting to know if a privacy fence will be constructed on the south and east sides of the said property. Number four, possible flooding on adjoining properties and Percival due to changes in topography. I cannot attend upcoming meeting on April 3rd. Please take my considerations into account. Thank you in advance. Linda T. Collins. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Caleb Blum. I actually don't live in Rockport. I live in Liberty Hill, Texas. But
Go ahead and give us your address there, please, sir.
Sir?
Go ahead and give us your address there.
It's 2150 Double File Trace, Liberty Hill, Texas. So, yeah, we want to have short-term rentals as an option and potentially long-term rentals. I don't know if we can do a mixed use on something like that or if it has to be one or the other. But it's a long-term investment property for me, and that's what we are looking at getting short-term rentals going over there. As far as the parking lot goes, none of the parking is going to change except for the parking that we want to add at the Percival side of the property. I guess, depending on if we're able to use the entrances and exits on the Percival side, potentially just having a horseshoe-shaped driveway through there with some additional diagonal parking in the back. We aren't really changing the topography. We're not changing any of the grades. Everything's going to be graded the way it was before, aside from that section in the back that will be taken down 4 or 5 feet. Yeah, that's all I've got.
Questions?
What he's talking about in the back, there's originally when the place was built and designed, they built up a berm. It's actually on the back side of the apartments on the Percival side for that pool. And the pool is gone. So what he's saying, he's taking that berm down and going back to the original top of the property. All that will be included in their drainage plan and all the civil plan.
Yeah, Glenn Engineering's working on that.
Remember in the previous meeting that any plans that they bring in, they have to come in with the engineered stamp certified drainage plan. It's on the drainage requirements to ensure that they don't cause an adverse effect on their neighbors. And they have a request. Right now they have calling it construction to exit off the person. They have not submitted any plans to use that as a permanent
I think at the last meeting, it was discussed that that back area along Percival, you had planned to try to use that for the boat trailer parking, possibly RV parking, as people come
Oh,
in
not
and short-term
RV,
rentals.
definitely not RV. Potentially boat and trailer, just because we thought it'd be cool to have that option
Yeah.
for people.
It
Not
just-
like for everybody, but just have 2 or 3 spots, available
It
for
just does
any
not
tenants.
look like there's enough room there for boats and boat trailers.
Right. Yeah, and it would be diagonal, and if we weren't able to use those exits, I would agree with you. I would say no. We are open to putting some kind of, like, creating some privacy back there, and it has definitely been a thought of mine. 6 or 8 foot fence back there.
Okay.
Whether we were able to use the entrances and exits or not. If we were, I think we'd still create some privacy there.
Anybody else?
If we were to recommend approval, and it turns out he was, one agency or another that he was unable to go through with that, would that still remain?
Right, the zoning actually, so when considering a zoning request, you have to consider if it meets the neighborhood, the frontage on the highway there, if it's meeting all those other requirements in the zoning, which is R6, which is short-term, like hotel, motel, which it does. And then the design of it doesn't really, should not bear on your decision whether or not to let them do the zoning. That comes to us. And we make sure that all the neighborhoods are protected, that we're not gonna influx the neighborhood with a lot of commercial trucks, things like that. We take all of that into consideration when they submit designing. But the zoning decision needs to be based on, does it meet the minimum requirements?
This request is just to allow partial short-term rentals in the complex.
And not that he was gonna do all short-term, he wasn't sure if he could also do long-term in the R6, and you can. You just can't do short-term in the R5 that it's zoned now. That's for multifamily apartment dwelling, not like hotel, motel type dwelling, which is short-term. But he could do both if it's R6.
But all of that would fall outside the purview of this
Yes,
to make sure he complied, assuming this were approved. Yes, ma'am.
I came prepared for another statement, which only varies a little bit from the last one. But my name is Mary Christine Ritter. I live at 1901 Cochran Lane in Rockport. My house is straight across from the driveway, and he did actually grade it. I went out of town and I came home, and someone had smoothed out the driveway. It doesn't look so smooth now, but it was smooth when I first called the city and complained and asked questions. And at that time, they told me everything was already permitted, which I don't understand why I was told that when y'all are saying something different now. And I don't remember who I spoke to.
well, actually, you spoke to me,
Okay.
and nothing had been permitted at that time.
Okay, well, that was not made clear on the phone. I'm sorry, I'm just blanking. And there was another reason I was coming up here. Once they get the higher level zoning, they can do pretty much whatever they want. Yes, they have to go back to the city, but there's no real, my understanding is there's no real public input at that point. And they can do whatever is permitted for the city to
Under
permit.
that zoning classification, yeah.
And for that zoning class. And so based on that, I am very much opposed to the rezoning of it. He can say he wants to do partial, long-term partial short-term and his heart may be in the right place, but there is no guarantee that down the road that that's not going to change. And you're still going to have, especially if that back entrance is open, we have cars that'll come. Like I said, I was in Port Aransas, and you wouldn't believe the conflict that it made in neighborhoods. Neighborhoods that had 3 units in a big building but only had 6 spaces, well, they would end up parking behind each other on the streets. It became a logjam for the people who lived there around the clock. And we don't want that in our neighborhood. And my neighborhood is a walking neighborhood. We don't want the added traffic through there. And I don't know how to convey the sincerity of my concern, but I watched it in Port Aransas, and this contention is one of the reasons why I came to Rockport. And to see it start happening in Rockport is breaking my heart. I can't afford another move. My home is all I've got left. I can't afford to lose value in my home. I can't afford for my value of my home to go up. So please don't rezone it. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm looking at the R6 zoning ordinance regs, and just one comment that I have, being if this goes to hotel motel R6, which down the road, again, we're looking at zoning. This is long-term, permanent. This isn't just about the immediately contemplated project. But retail shops, restaurants, clubs, and lounges can be inside the building, if I'm reading this right, Carrie. So down the road, you do have the option of those things being within the buildings that are there being established. And given that this backs up to a residential neighborhood, I think that's something we need to take into consideration as far as property values in the neighborhood there and how the overall effect.
Well, before they could do that, before they could allow something in there, they would have to come back to us. And they'd have to meet all the parking requirements, the distance, alcohol. There are TA's distance requirements, which I don't think they would meet there. I don't think it would happen.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
The question on the table is the existing structure, just has X number of apartments in it.
Right.
The question before you is, he's asking for permission to rent a portion of them long-term and a portion of them short-term. And the only way for him to do that is through this rezoning request.
It couldn't be done with a conditional use permit?
Sorry?
That couldn't be done with a conditional use permit?
But then we have to track. The conditional use permit is for the purpose of someone having an activity on their property that a zoning could not help them, a rezone couldn't help.
Okay.
Whereas here, you can't rezone.
Future land use map is residential, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, apartments is residential. Short-term and long-term, still residential.
Long-term or short-term.
But he's asking to go to hotel motel.
That's the zoning that will allow him to part of them for long-term apartment.
But hotel motel is not residential, is it?
It's a commercial activity, but they are sleeping inside.
So carry this one step further, then am I misunderstanding that this would be outside the current future land use map?
Which one are you looking at? The one I'm looking at shows. Yeah, it's showing commercial.
Yeah, because under compatibility with zoning ordinance.
Yeah. It's zoned, R5 right now. But then the future land use map shows, a zoning of B1, commercial. What are you looking
Yeah,
at? Am I-
no, it does, you're correct.
Yeah, that. No, that's the zoning. There's the future land.
It's on the back.
What are you looking at?
The very last page is showing it.
Yeah.
Back upside down, it's the very last page.
Let me see. Oh, that's the,
You know what, she's looking.
yeah, that yellow just means that's everybody within 200 feet. Oh,
Sorry, typo.
That's fine. That's correct. Yep. So, so it does, the future land use map does show
yes, sir.
business.
Shows
Okay.
commercial.
That's-
If I can make a quick input on this, I think that if, granting the rezone to R6, make sure that it's not a business.
Good point.
B1 means someone can come in and rip it all out.
And do something else.
do something else. So R6 may be the happy medium.
To, for the neighbors, and also that it's a commercial zone, as Barry said, and R6 is kind of a commercial thing.
So for the purposes of our discussion, what this would give him is the opportunity to do short-term, but not business.
The zoning request is to have short and long-term rentals at the current complex.
Yeah, if it was gonna be long-term only, he could leave it at
He would leave it R5.
R5. That makes sense?
Now, another
Yes, ma'am.
factor-
You need to come up here, please, ma'am.
Is it not possible for him to keep the current zoning and then do like a bed and breakfast permit? That's a no? Okay.
That's still short-term, isn't it? Bed and breakfast?
It is short-term, but it's not R6. The R6 means that if we have a hurricane and they blow away, someone can build a motel or a hotel there. He can keep the current zoning, and he really does just want to do a few of them as bed and breakfasts and not all of them.
What you're talking about is a conditional use permit?
Is that what that's called? I have no idea.
Yes, and a conditional use permit is used when the use that's desired for the property
Uh-huh.
can't be remedied with a rezone,
Okay,
but this can.
okay.
Just rezone to R6.
I don't see how it can be rezoned to an R6 without having detrimental effects on all the residents in Little Bay. And you only notified a part of the ones in that yellow zone on the map because my cousin was in that and did not get one. Part of her property was within 200 feet. Yes, part of her property was within that 200
They use
feet.
the mailing names and addresses off the CAD.
Yes, her address is, or was, exactly there, and she lived there and owned the property when those came out.
What was
She,
her address?
see, I'm 1901, 1905, Letha Ann Kiefer. Yeah,
My name is
Kiefer.
on the list here.
She said she did not, she said she did not receive it. Okay. Anyway, so you're saying there's no way to do a conditional use, because I feel like it's, the compatibility between our lifestyle in the neighborhood and the lifestyle that this development represents are in such great conflict that it's not feasible to rezone it. And I would think that perhaps under that circumstance, he could do a bed and breakfast if he's honestly wanting to do just a few of those units as short-term rentals.
Unfortunately, that's not how the process works.
Is it not how?
Highway frontage, and so it can be rezoned to meet the needs of.
Okay, I'm not following you there, but I'm just saying that there's enough of a conflict there that perhaps the city might be willing to accommodate or consider such a request, because I'm not the only one opposed to it. There's Ms. Collins, who's was here last time and who was read in earlier. There is my neighbor. There is Letha Ann. There is Sissy, who I can't remember her last name. And they're all opposed to this, and they see the conflict that exists between having traffic in the neighborhood and having our walking lifestyle. It's a dog-friendly neighborhood. People walk through there, and this is going to become a corridor to the waterfront and to Playtown down in Fulton, where people go to restaurants and bars.
Just to confirm, the only two official notices that we've gotten in opposition have been from you and Ms. Collins, though. We haven't heard from anyone else.
I thought someone else submitted something last time. Not here, but submitted it online. I thought I would. No, I didn't submit one online. Linda Turner did hers online, okay. Well, I don't know what to say. I know that the others said that they were going to do it.
Well, this goes to council on April 11th.
Okay.
So if they would like to do something in writing and get it to us, I have to get her those packets this week, so get it to us this week.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else? Entertain a motion. To approve or deny? I'll make a motion to approve. No second?
I'll second. Only because unless we, the other folks, I counted up 11 properties here in Little Bay Shores, and we've only heard from 2.
And we can't hear a word.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I counted up 11 properties in Little Bay Shores, and we've only heard from 2. So, yeah, so.
But they have time.
Yeah.
This week it'll be.
Okay. I'm hesitant, but I'll second.
So there's an opportunity. We have a motion and a second. Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
3 to 2. Motion carries. Item number 6. Anything else? Otherwise, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
We're adjourned at 6:15. Thank you.
Good job. Thank you.